tiny boobies feel good. The really big boobies feel good. The fake boobies feel good.
All boobs.
I'll say
all
boobs
feel good.
Silicone a little bit better than saline, maybe, but still good. Still good. That's just personal preferences. But until you have felt fake boobs, how dare you? Life is a challenge.
How do you get through it?
Laughing at the dark and dirty. We walk you through all the naughty secrets of the adult industry, and you get to be a fly on the wall with two best friends in the business of boobs.
We want to hear your dirty secrets too.
If you have stories to share, questions for us, need advice, which may or may not be helpful,
but we'll make you laugh.
We'll always be laughing here, and we thank you for coming this week.
The Totally Wholesome, Not Dirty podcast, hosted by Molly Stewart and Laura Contreras.
100 is what everybody celebrates, I guess, for the potting. Let me make sure everyone's
It's longer than most marriages.
That's true. Just like our friendship.
I was just looking at like some of our like very first like shoots we worked together with. That was like 2019.
2019
wow.
and
So
2018.
That's 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, we've lasted longer than the podcast, but I think.
Yeah. But, you know, we're planning to go till we're 90.
Yeah. We were actually just talking.
As grannies.
We were talking about that the other day, actually.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm down.
Saggy tits unite.
Oh, I forgot to take my hair down.
It looks so cute like that.
Should I put it back?
It
Sorry.
looks really cute.
Well, I can't replicate it now. I can't.
It was like
see
a Pam up, you know, like the Pam Anderson. Yeah, it's so
really cute.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
Are those your natural curls?
No.
They look so good.
It takes to heat very well now.
Yeah.
It didn't until I hit puberty. My mom would like just curl my hair before church, like every Sunday, just make it real tight, and it would be falling out by the time we'd get there. I'm like, why do we do this every week? You know what I mean?
I'm determined.
No, like, why do we go to church every week?
Agreed.
Speaking of which, so Nicole Mitchell,
Yes.
correct? I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. Is our guest today, and you used to be a pastor,
Yes.
preacher. What is there a difference between the two?
Well, pastor can mean different things. Like some people think it's a head pastor, but I was a mega church, so we had a whole team of pastors and preachers, and I was on that team. So I was just one of many. So
Okay.
some people call me pastor, some call me preacher.
Okay, well, how did you get into that? Because you do a little bit different stuff now. From what I've heard.
You know what's crazy is like me even becoming a preacher or pastor was scandalous back then, because I grew up in a evangelical where women are not allowed to preach or teach or speak. So for me to go on and become a pastor, my family had a really hard time with it because it's not what I was supposed to do as a woman. So they had a hard time with that. So you can imagine how hard of a time they've had with me going into adult work.
Yeah, I can
You're
imagine.
like, I can relate. I get
Well,
that.
yeah. I'm not going to say that they were happy about it. I still don't really talk to my mom, but, you know, I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the only reason. But I feel like I feel like within growing up in church and having family in the church, they just like to have a reason to feel superior to you. So it didn't really matter what I chose.
Right.
They were, you know, with certain people in the family, like not my entire family, but they're going to have a problem with it because if it's not what they think that you should be doing, like I know a lot of my cousins went into like the seminary and all that kind of stuff. It was very popular where I grew up to like, you know, go into the ministry.
Totally.
And for me, I just never, it didn't have any appeal for me anyway. So I'm like, well,
I was born to be a slut.
Yeah, exactly. Let me thrive.
That was my destiny.
I mean,
my blood.
I didn't know that back then, but it was meant to
there.
be. It was just hiding.
I love it.
So what was your experience like, you know, going through like seminary as a woman, especially when it was like not.
I just graduated in 2018, so it wasn't even that long ago. But I picked like the most liberal one. So it was very, very inclusive. In fact, it was an interfaith seminary. So there was Muslims, Baha'i, atheists, Jews, Christians, all there to study the Bible, which was so fascinating. So it was actually give credit to my seminary for helping me lose my faith, because I went and I heard all these religions and all their interpretations of my book that I grew up with. And all of theirs were so much better than the one that was passed on to me. I was like, I have been duped my whole life. I'm out. And so that actually helped me get out of my religion. And I am very grateful for that.
Oh, well, that's
So thank you, seminary. Thank you. You did
Shout
it.
out seminary.
well. I mean, hey, that is your own discovery and your own path. And
Yep.
the funny thing was always growing up in that was, everybody's different interpretation of what one
Yes.
single verse could mean. I remember very like targeted prayers around the dinner table, like
my
addressing things that you couldn't talk about outside unless it was prayer. Because
Yes.
that's God's business to deal with. It's like
Oh my God.
it's like they pray at you instead of like
Talk with you. Oh my
praying
gosh.
at you is easier than having a heart-to-heart discussion.
Oh my God. So true. So sad. Oh.
So how did you make the transition then from being like, okay, well, this is all bullshit. Everything I
Yeah.
thought I knew was bullshit, and
Yep.
I can have any other path. And then I guess your just inner slut woke up
She
inside
woke
of you.
up. Yeah, she was always there. She was like Sleeping Beauty, just like kiss me so I can get up and people. Like, so I finally had that awakening.
You're like, listen,
Like-
God is bullshit, but dick, let me tell you.
But have you had dick?
But have you gotten naked for horny men and felt a little bit of validation? Because that's pretty cool too.
That's my calling. That's my holy work.
Oh, speaking of holy work, we were just talking before you got here. Because I grew up in that, I have made videos that are questionable in the past using things like crucifixes that were designed for penetration with a nun costume and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
And I had this great idea while we were having a little smoke about how great it would be to have a little mini ministry series that I could release once a week. I think and like
I'm loving
by the
this.
time
Keep
by the
going.
time this comes out, it would have been last month, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it going, but it was really great because I just had a minister outfit with a little white collar and everything. Laura put my hair back real good. We did black lipstick, and I wrote
fit the vibe.
little sermons based on scriptures that I found and looked up about like masturbation or touching yourself
my
or having
gosh.
sex or having lustful thoughts, and turned it into my interpretation of what God was trying to say, because that's all that a sermon ever was growing up.
Yes.
It's like, here's what I think based on this, and you
And
can
this is
always
the
twist
truth.
it. So of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
I twisted it to them giving me money and coming for me.
Yes.
Because it's for God, so it's fine.
I love this so much. Now I don't read scripture anymore, but when I think about it, I think of it through a very sexual lens. So like the story of Rahab hiding 2 spies under a skirt, I'm like, that was a threesome.
Yeah.
Do
for
not tell
sure.
me that she's
Don't tell me it
protecting
wasn't
them.
a
They were
threesome.
having sex. Like it's all I see in
They
scripture
had really
now.
big skirts back then. Let me tell you, like you could hide a lot of people under there. It could have been more.
They said
The
2,
first
it
skirt
was
party.
6.
Oh, there's so many
gosh.
instances like that. And then I remember growing up just having so many questions about all of that. What was the experience like for you growing up in that before you kind of like,
Yeah.
what was that point that you were like, oh my God, I actually love this so much and I'm so into this that I want to like make this my career and I want to like do
Yeah.
the good that I've been taught is good. How was that?
Which is my body and my pussy. I had like signs of it my entire childhood. I remember watching Full House and seeing Stephanie in her mini skirts and thigh high boots. And I remember telling my mom at like 6, like, I want that because I found it beautiful. And I was like shamed for it for being like sexual.
Yeah.
And then in middle school, even though I wasn't exposed to much as a kid, I somehow knew I wanted to be a stripper. And so I was telling my friends, like,
really?
because I thought all girls want to be strippers. And I'm like, don't, like, I can't be a stripper someday. And like, I saw the looks on their face. I'm like, okay, guess that's just a Nicole thing. Don't say that. So like the inner slut was always there. And it would come out in little ways. And I'd have to keep shoving it down to be the good girl that I was told to be.
Yeah.
In high school, I described myself all the time. My friends, I'm like one big hormone with 2 little feet running around. Like I was so horny all the time. I only wanted to have sex.
Were you masturbating?
Yes.
as well?
I masturbated from like since I was 5. I got caught and got in trouble. But here's the crazy thing. I was so sheltered and undereducated because we don't talk about anything in that in the religious community. I didn't know I was masturbating.
No, I didn't either.
Right?
Had no idea. I found out I figured it out like way later
I
down
found like
the
my
road.
mid-20s is when I realized.
No pillow was safe. If there was no one home, like my mom would go out and be like, all right, this door is shut and all these pillows in here are mine. Like, why do you have so many stuffed animals in your bed? I don't know. But like, I didn't know what I was doing. It was just like, oh, this
felt
feels so
good.
good. And I would come up with little stories in my head.
Oh, I
And
love
yeah.
that.
All right. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. I feel like if you kind of have that in you, it's just going to come out eventually, even though I was very also ashamed of my body.
Totally.
It was not like something that was talked about. Like,
Yes.
I was like, here's sex. Don't do it. You'll die.
Yes.
Or you'll get pregnant. Either one is bad unless
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
married. And I'm like, whoa. I'll just hump these pillows.
This bear's looking real
Sorry,
good.
stuffies.
You know, it's really
I
good at like
love
the really
that.
long body pillows because you can
Oh
just
my
get your whole little thing
gosh.
into it. You know, it's good. Fold them over multiple times.
This is amazing. So good.
But yeah, I think that it's interesting like how much shame like in the religious community is put
Yes.
around just your body, because I
Oh
feel
my
like it's one of
gosh.
those things that it's like you tell a kid anything not to do, they want to fucking do it.
Yep.
So it's like even though it's like there was like shame layered with the desire that was already there, but it's like you have to shut that off. So you like detach from it, right? And then it's
Yeah.
like, well, all that I would see about my body was something that was just shame. Well, that's shameful. And then anything I do
Totally.
over here, that's fine because I'm just by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I actually found OnlyFans so healing for me, because I had a lot of body shame. I had a lot of shame around my genitals. And it wasn't until I was literally spreading them for the world to see and only get raving compliments that it took me a while to believe them and
Yeah.
to believe that, oh, I am desirable. Oh, that is good. Like, this isn't bad, gross, or like, I needed OnlyFans to come back to my body and reclaim it as good. So for me, it's been a very healing journey
That's
that
great.
I should have had when I was a kid and not have the body shame in the first place. But OnlyFans has been critical to my evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great, because I feel like even if you're a parent, right, and say that you hold these beliefs and whatever those are to you, sometimes people need that to get through their day. Is that, you know, that, well, not all the responsibility is on my shoulders, and I can be the best I can, and I'll be forgiven by whatever, you know, being is out there, and that's fine. But that shouldn't, you know, stop you from communicating to your offspring about the importance of knowing your body and of knowing how you should be treated, both like sexually and interpersonally. And it's like, I don't feel like any of that emphasis was put on like figuring out how to respect yourself. It was just like, here's all the ways that you will be disrespected.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, what's the alternative then? Because I'm just like, I'm having all this shame about it, or I show it to someone and it's still shameful, or like whatever. It's like
Yes.
there's no actual like set guidelines for how you should feel about yourself or to have any pride in yourself, especially as a
Totally.
woman.
Yeah. I have 3 kids right now, 2 girls and a boy unless they change. And I gave them mirrors at a young age to like learn your body. Here's what all the parts are called. And I've had different times in their life where like they're playing like with a shower head, or I had a hand massager and they would like touch themselves like, that feels good down there. And I would talk about like, yeah, that area of our body gives us a lot of pleasure. We typically want to do that in the bedroom or in the bathroom when other people aren't around. Like, not shaming, but educating. Like,
Yeah.
this is appropriate.
Like,
this is natural.
great, but
Here's
do it
a
alone,
space.
or, you know, with, you know, like,
Yeah.
especially at the young age by yourself. It's like, you
Yep.
know, even I listen to the comedian Christina P. all the time, and she has a podcast and it's all about mom stuff, you know, and I'm not a mom, but I still find her hilarious, so I listen to it. She always talks about like, you know, it's like, it's not shameful, your body, but only your dad and I see it, you know, you don't let anybody else
Right.
touch there or do the things. And it's like, you know, and it's still just having that open dialogue to be like, this is okay. You are okay. This is just you and your body. Just protect it and know it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I had an amazing conversation with one of my kids just 2 days ago where they've recently brought the word pussy into my home, and like they're like, how do you say this word, Mom? Like, they must have read it or heard it somewhere. And then I was like, so I just want to let you guys know, it's really common for people to use that word as an insult. Like, you're weak, you're afraid, you're scared. But honestly, the pussy is really powerful and it's really beautiful. So to me, it's like it should only be used as a compliment. So then later my kid's like, so can I say you're a pussy because you're powerful and beautiful, Mom? And I'm like,
I like how that went.
in this context, yes, you can. Like, already being honest about what it's known for, and then redefining it, reclaiming it. And I love how, like, well, can I practice that right now in front of you? I'm like, go for it. Like, I love having those conversations with my kids.
Yeah, and it's great that you are able to be so open and that you're learning yourself
Yeah.
more and learning the things that make you who you are and that make you happy and fulfilled. And the fact that you can actually share that with your children,
Yeah.
it must be like hugely rewarding, especially
Huge.
since you didn't really have that.
Totally. And they've seen that journey. So we were on food stamps for 9 years. So they saw us being very poor, really struggling. And then I've made a lot of money in my OnlyFans, and they've seen moving from the Midwest to the West Coast, That's a huge quality of life difference. And the quality of life I'm able to give them within California. And it's been amazing. So they're already learning. I'm like, I want you to do what you love and learn how to make a lot of money doing it. Like, that is possible. And like, that was never taught to me as a kid. So I'm like so happy to be planting seeds of like, watch me as I do it. And I hope that gives you wings to fly when you get older.
And there are so many different ways from when we were young and taught like,
my gosh,
you go all through the school and then you go to the college. And it's like, until you're 25, I'm sorry, you have no idea what you're doing or what you want. Like, and you could go through all that time. I'm not saying that, nobody should go to school. That's ridiculous. Like, why that's so dumb. But it's different for everyone. Yeah. And it's like, even with school, it wasn't challenging for me. But it wasn't fun because it wasn't challenging. It was like, I like a struggle. I was homeless for a while. That wasn't fun, but it was something that like gave this like groundwork to be like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to be able to do something and figure it out. And there's so many different ways that people can earn income in this new generation. Whether it's like there's so many forms of different entertainment. That's not even OnlyFans. It's like there are so many different ways you could do something creative. Like something that is so popular now too is even the ability to just create something with your hands. Everybody wants it because you almost never see it anymore. So it's like those niche things. Well, I have heard bad things about Etsy that they're not very good to their creators. So I've heard it's best to find like the person's actual storefront if they do have one, or like their own website as well.
There's also like partnerships and sponsorships. Like I get paid by a sex toy company. Like I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh my, like back when I was poor, I had no money coming in from anywhere and I had no idea how to get started. And it was like, first I just started my life coaching business. Then I was reflecting like the past couple weeks. I'm like, I have so many streams of income because there are so many more opportunities. There's collaborations. Social media is a huge connector. Like there's just way more options nowadays. And it makes me so happy because if you're born for a non-traditional life, nowadays there's plenty of non-traditional paths to profit. Yeah. Versus when we were kids and there was a pretty straight line about where you wanted to go. And
it's true. You never heard the word influencer.
Yeah.
Ever. Growing up.
And even the idea of just sponsorships where it's like, even with the podcast, it's like, well, we have a couple, and then that continues to grow. And it's like, well, that's how then we can pay our editor to keep producing and editing the stuff. And then we get to push it to him that way. And he gets to do, more stuff, hopefully. And I want to grow it to the point that it can be even more for him. And it's like, and then more for you and more, and everybody grows together.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. Win.
Yeah.
Go Liquid Ivy and Manscaped. And David, everyone else.
This is actually a great word from sponsor.
Yeah.
As someone who always loves new technology, one question that I have is, why can't tech be cute? But then I discovered Kawaii Lighting, and I realized that it actually can be, and it is, at kawaiilighting.com. These aren't basic ring lights. They stand out. So whether you're looking for RGB to make a statement or want to do something extra cute, like with their cat, heart, or star-shaped lights, kawaiilighting.com has you covered. Get one for yourself. Get one for the cute streamer in your life. Whoever you get one for, use code TWND at checkout or click the affiliate link in the description to let them know I sent you. Hydrate. Liquid IV has sent us a new box I'm very, very, very excited about.
It's beautiful.
So
look at this thing.
Liquid IV always hooks it up. Like this huge box came to the door and I was like, what? I didn't even order. And it was Liquid IV, of course. So guys,
so
I want y'all to check this out real quick because Laura, put your headphones close so you can listen. It scared me when I first opened it. Liquid IV, really hydrating.
Wow.
Now and sugar-free.
This is a great package.
Yes, and it was really, really cool. So I want to show this to you. Guys, please, Liquid IV was our very first sponsor ever. And we love, Manscaped and stuff as well. But Liquid IV is absolutely amazing. I do drink it every single day. It helped me earlier when I was feeling overheated and hot because I was dehydrated because I didn't have one this morning. So now that I've had one, I'm feeling loads better. But I would like to have another because I wanted to try the sugar-free.
Yes.
I saw the email about it a while ago. So let's look in door number 1. White peach. Do you want to try white peach?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So let's see what the other flavors are. We also have, let's tilt it forward. We also have, grape, green grape, white peach.
Nice.
And lemon lime.
Beautiful.
Which one are you feeling?
Let's try the peach.
The white peach? All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Do you need more water in
Liquid
your...
IV, you hooked it up.
Thank you.
Do we have another Fiji?
Yeah, but you can use the rest of this.
Okay, well, then we'll just share
And we'll
it.
share it, yeah.
Here.
Sharing. It's talking again.
It's excited to be here.
This is great.
And so Liquid IV is great. If you guys have a hard time staying hydrated, if you have headaches, you are working out all the time, you need to have a little something to add to your water to help you absorb your hydration better. And CTT technology can help do that, transporting 5 essential vitamins into your bloodstream. We got vitamin B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. Mama's back, baby.
Hey,
I remembered it.
Hey.
Check this out.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding here.
This is awesome.
Liquid IV absolutely hooks it up every single time. You guys can check out their website and use code TWND for 15% off and free shipping on everything that you purchase. This helps pay David. You guys get awesome stuff. You get stuff that tastes good. And if it tastes good and it makes you more hydrated, then why not give it a shot? Because we use it all the time and we give it to our guests. We absolutely love it. And if you guys want to help support the show, it really helps us. So use code TWND. So they also sent a little speaker, which we can use for our shoots. And check this. It's also battery pack.
That's amazing.
How cool.
Thank you so
He
much.
just keeps going off. He's just like, party.
Ooh, this smells so good. I can't wait. Shake it up. Shake it up. All right, lovely. You first.
All right. Also, it really helps with spit.
She's not joking. What? Is it
It's
the bomb?
so good. It's so good. Sugar free. It's lighter than the other ones. Like, it's not. That's really, really good.
We don't know how you do it.
Liquid IV.
We love you.
We love you, Liquid IV. So experience better hydration today. Today. Go to liquidiv.com. Use code TWND. Use 15% off. And free
15%
shipping.
off
Yeah.
and free shipping.
Perfect. So give it a go because that is really, really good.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Sponsor.
Oh, but yeah, that's really, really cool that you've been able to kind of like pull yourself out of that and then see the whole world in a different light. But as far as like social media and like getting sponsorships and getting all that kind of attention, do you find that kind of having switched into the field that you are now, that you're running into a lot of censorship on social media?
Oh yeah, I even just this week Instagram like reported a bunch of my posts for sexuality or nudity, none of which I had bikinis. Like
they're coming for you.
Legit.
Same thing.
So on my way here, I was archiving all the posts they told me violated, even though I appealed it and they said it was still wrong. So
do you ever get this where you appeal it and they're like, yeah, you're good now.
Yes,
You can be recommended, and then 5 minutes later the same post.
Yes.
I'm like, excuse me.
Yes.
How does this even happen?
It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, well, you can't say that it's fine and then do the same thing within the same breath. It's like you have to have a clearly set, rules in place, and they don't. And it's like I see some people's nipples like through their damn shirt, and I'm like, gosh. I'm the tamest I could possibly be right now. Like, what more do you want me to do?
I loved your post this morning.
I'll have to look it up.
So I woke up to a bunch of flags again, and I was so frustrated because the same stuff that they just said was fine, and they're like, well, now you can't be recommended again. And it's difficult to grow the podcast or any other things that aren't OnlyFans if I can't even be shown to people. And it's like, I'm not doing anything explicit on these platforms. I am very compliant to the point where it's hard for me to even create content because of how compliant I'm trying to be. So I wrapped myself up in blankets and did like a whole carousel of like blanket covered photos.
Amazing. We're all gonna be back in our nun outfits. So I guess this is what they want.
Hey, they left the pastor one. I guess we need to do more pastor content.
So real though.
But speaking of pastor content, and as someone who has gone through seminary, I have some confessionals from some of my fans based on the confessionals that I've run.
I love this.
So
give it to us.
Bring it. We have some that were okayed to share on the podcast. Yes. Now, the first one is from Kyle. Now, how do you feel about this? He has confessed to jerking off to my JOI videos while driving.
Oh my God, that's so hot. I want a video of that. Please film it, Kyle, because that's the confessional I need.
But how, you think about it, and it's like, okay, awesome. But how? How do you do this
your phone
safely?
up, phone
so
up
you
there,
have like a sticky that
the
your phone is
video,
in
and you're doing
place.
this. Well, I guess you're doing this.
Maybe he's cross-eyed. He's like one on the road, one is
Oh my
over here. If he has a lazy eye, Kyle. Lazy
Kyle,
eye.
please submit a video so we can know exactly what's going on.
We need proof and evidence.
I'm
Proof
getting
and
tingly.
evidence. And then
This
we
is
also need a
amazing.
camera set up so we can prove you're not lying. But also be careful because you'll get arrested.
Yeah, don't die.
Or a
Be
ticket.
very careful.
Probably not arrested. Ticket.
We didn't tell you to do it.
But what do you think is that okay
I'm
for him
like,
to
do
do?
more.
Okay. I agree.
gonna
What do you
encourage
think?
you.
Do
Yeah,
more?
Do more.
It's so hot.
I think do more because, honestly, Kyle, I think that the Lord would agree. This shows true dedication. And when you come to worship at the Church of Molly, the cock flock
gotta
hour,
come.
let me tell you,
You gotta
when you
come.
gotta come, you gotta come, and you gotta come when I say. And how are you gonna know when that is if you're not watching the video? You know what I mean?
And if you're on the road for a long time, I mean, it's perfect
Yeah.
time to get it done.
Of course, yeah, those big long stretches
Get her
of
done.
nothingness.
We have heard that masturbating while driving, but not coming will keep you up for hours. Like if you're ever
Yeah.
tired on the road,
So you can just
Kyle.
JOI edge.
just edge.
You're just edging. See, that's
Exactly.
fine.
And Molly will not allow you to come, so
No.
there you go.
Yeah, it will just keep you awake and keep you
This
focused.
is amazing.
I like it.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, and we have another one from Zach. So he neglected responsibilities to devote time in paying tribute to Molly Mommy.
Sounds like he was doing the right thing.
Sounds like he was. Sounds like he was putting me before self, which is very
Which is
important
what
when you're worshiping me.
Molly
Is
likes.
what I think.
A
But he
plus.
also had a little side confessional. He told a little girl at an apartment complex that she was a fucking little asshole because she fed the ducks every day.
Girl.
And now, Kyle, I have to say, I agree with you, man. Fuck those ducks. I fucking hate ducks. Fuck that little girl.
but
She
her
keeps feeding them. They're going to keep
dreams-
coming back.
I have
And
happy memories of feeding ducks when I was a little girl. So Zach, or is it Zach?
Yes.
Zach.
A duck bit me yesterday.
Yeah.
So fuck ducks.
What did I tell you?
On the
she
toe.
sends me a photo of these little ducks one time, and I was like, oh, they're cute, but they're evil. And then she sent me a photo of ducks from the boat the other day and
Maybe it's a
says, one bit
compliment.
me.
I mean, he
You're
was
yummy.
The thing
You're
is,
tasty.
I was feeding them, and they're babies. There was like a family of like 4 babies
It
and the
can't
mom.
distinguish between food and
Food
toes.
and, yeah,
Like
it looks
I'll
very
nibble on
much
that.
like a seed. I know.
You just got to kick
But
them.
yeah, I was like, this little guy. I thought he was just coming closer and closer, and he went, right on the toe. And I was
Listen.
like, did that just happen?
You're like, I get
What?
paid for this.
What
Pay up, duck.
Not these toes.
They're
those
cute. You can get those sucked and paid
You
for.
just gotta start. You gotta start
Hey.
selling your feet pics at least. Like, come on,
Cute.
now. That's pretty
Bright
wholesome.
blue nail polish.
Let's go.
Let's work it.
Let's go.
Are you gonna start selling your feet pics on Wholesome Pics?
No.
Speaking of
Why not?
unconventional ways to make money,
Yeah.
I mean, never say never.
It's just feet. It's just photos of your feet. You don't have to put them on a dildo.
It's a
or
wholesome
anything.
fans.
Yeah, but it's just feet. Feet
I
are pretty wholesome.
love-
I think feet are one of the most
Are
wholesome
our
kinks.
feet wholesome? Can you please call in to the
Call in.
podcast?
702-900-6446.
Let us know what you think.
Is
Our
foot
feet
fetish-
wholesome?
Yeah, are they wholesome? Because I think it is.
If it is,
Hopefully.
and I get any responses of this, I'll consider it. How about that? How about
I
that?
thought you were gonna say I was going to do it. I was like, oh, snap. Let's go.
Let's
She's
hear
like-
what the public wants.
Yeah, we got to give the people what they want, Laura. We need to do at least 100 more of these.
But yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, thank you, Zach.
Those
Yes,
ducks.
those were great confessions. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for sharing these. That was amazing.
And speaking of fan submissions, would you like to listen to a voicemail?
Yes.
We love voicemails.
I love.
Let's make sure that
Like
we're
it's
playing through
exciting.
the
Everyone
correct.
should call in. And the ones that do, thank you.
I want to make sure this will be playing through the right speakers. So I don't know if y'all want to go to manscaped.com and use code TWND to save 20% and get free shipping off everything that you purchase. But if you want your taint to be nice and smooth and have a nice little surface for some little finger rubbing action or maybe some vibrating action, can you imagine vibrating your taint if it was just full of hairs? I just imagine the hairs just like
Wrapping around.
wrapping around it, just like a mixer when you just like, or if you like blow dry your hair and all of a sudden your hair gets sucked in. Do you remember when they used to do that? Oof. Bad times. Don't want that. So if you want taint play, you need Manscaped. So go to manscaped.com. Use code TWND to save 20% off. Get free shipping on everything that you purchase, and your taint and your balls will thank you. You can get the Performance Package 4.0. The Weed Whacker nose ear hair trimmer is missing because I stole it. Because I have nose hairs. Not ear hairs, thankfully. Haven't reached that age of life yet, but it's coming. So there's also the Performance Boxer Briefs, which are very soft, very comfortable. They are wonderful. And
Awesome.
I had a thought as we were discussing this, because you also know you get the Crop Reviver and the Crop Preserver ball toner and ball deodorant in the package as well as a travel shed bag. But the piece de resistance to the Performance Package 4.0 from manscaped.com is the Lawnmower 4.0. So it's got advanced proprietary skin safe technology to prevent all those nasty little nicks and scrapes that you don't want. It has an LED spotlight so you can see what you're doing as you do it. That will help prevent any of that stuff as well. And I don't know if y'all noticed this, but
Vibration.
do you hear that? So if you do a little shave down there and then you just turn it around, it could provide a nice little stimmy. I'm not telling you how to run your life, but if you try that, you just let me know if it's all right.
They're also waterproof.
It is waterproof. Yes, so you can shave in the shower, even though we have determined that apparently a lot of men don't like to shave in the shower because they don't like comfort. But if you shave in the shower or don't, can you call in to 702-900-6446? Tell us your sitch. Like, do you use water to shave? Because so many men that we know do not.
Yeah, just dry. Straight and dry.
You also said that if they do not like to shave in the shower, to keep everything in the shower, they also make a mat now, correct?
Yes.
Manscaped?
Yeah,
so
it's
Manscaped
like a
has
newspaper. It's
mat.
really cute.
Cool. So it just collects all the shavings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So go check out
Invest in
Manscaped.
those.
Manscaped.com. Back to the show.
Back to the tabs.
Back to the tabs. Back to the taint.
Hi, Molly. Hi,
God.
Laura. Thanks again. This is Dan.
Hi,
I want to
Dan.
give you a call again because I did hear you play my voicemails on the podcast the last couple of times, and I
I
thank
love
you
loyal
again.
fans.
Now I have a little claim to fame. But I do have a question. I mean, when I listen to that, it sounds like a totally different person talking on the phone. I don't know if you have the same issue. I mean, when you watch your stuff back, do you feel like it's your voice talking to you? It's kind of a weird thing, that's all. I just wanted to call in and say congrats again on the 100 coming up. Can't wait to see that.
Just happened.
But, yeah, do you ever feel that your voice is completely different when it's coming out of the electronic stuff? That was it. All right, have a good day, and thanks again. Enjoy the podcast, and can't wait for the 100th again. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Dan.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Wow, that was precious.
It was very precious. And yes, do you experience this? Like
When I was
making
younger, I
videos?
noticed it.
Yeah.
Like I hated the contrast when I like record it and then watch it back. But I think I've done video work for so long now, it sounds the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize it anymore.
I would have to agree. I think when I first started making videos, you know, or for cam or watching cam streams back, I was very much like, that's weird. Like that doesn't even sound like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, unfortunately.
Because that is what I sound like.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh fuck. Shit, this is what everybody else listens to. That's why we have 5 people who listen to this, but 100 more. No, but yeah, I think that's definitely a thing that you have to get used to. Or even like, how did you get used to like being kind of more conservative with your body, to being like, well, now I'm looking at photos of it all the time and videos, and I don't know if you
Yes.
do your editing or anything
Yep,
like that.
I do
but-
all of it.
Yeah.
And I started off really nervous, really timid, really shy, really bashful. Still had quite a bit of sex shame or body shame and sex shame, and would start off very modest, further away, you know. And then as fans requested more explicit content, I'm like, I'm not there yet. So it was like a journey. I've been doing this for almost 4 years, and like I think that's part of what people stay along for. Is like it's not traditional like Pornhub where you go and it's just all there. It's like you're joining a real person in their evolution in real time. And slowly got closer, slowly showed more. And as I got more raving comments, it was really healing. And now I like love spreading my legs and spreading my ass and like doing all the things. I actually find it really fun. And like, I love like getting off to my own content, which was surprising. I'm like, oh girl, yes. Look at that angle. Yes. Like I love it. Yes.
I get like a similar thing, like so Laura shoots my content. She's very wholesome, but she shoots my naughty content.
I love that.
So But she'll go through and hype me up about photos. And I find that when she like does my look up or something like that, or like she's taking the photos, and then I get really into it because I'm like, it's almost like it's not me. It's like this fun character that I got to be. So I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. Or this, would be better this way. And for a while, I think I had too much connection between me and every single photo. Like I used to overthink everything. I was like, oh, this angle is too bad, or I can't possibly show this one. And now I'll drop a little like zinger in there sometimes just while they're jerking. It's just
Sometimes.
like, oh, fuck. All the time, every set. Let's be honest, there's at least one.
It wouldn't be right if there wasn't
No.
one. I love that.
But I think it is. It
So
definitely
true.
becomes like becoming more comfortable with yourself, and the more
Yes.
comfortable you are with yourself, it's like, okay, well, they've already seen this much. It's like, well, what's one loose hair or like a furry leg in a shot or something
So
every now and then.
true.
Like,
I used to edit every little tiny defect perfect, and the longer you do it, the more confident, more comfortable you come, and then the more you realize how much they hunger authenticity. So now more and more, I like hardly ever edit. So like today, I just posted like 20 photos. None of them are edited. Like this is me, real time, and I think that's like what they actually want, because like Instagram, online, that's where all the edited gorgeous photos are, and it's like behind the scenes, like
like the
here's
real
this,
deal.
or here's me rolled over, like
Yeah.
here's me in my bed head, and there's something
Here's
really
my 3 chins.
attractive about it because it's real. Yeah.
But I think that's super important too. And I think that once I kind of started letting go of the over editing, it's like, I'm not going to say I don't ever edit photos.
Right.
Obviously I do, but like I'll even sometimes release something like, I have a lot of acne on my butt. I could just soften. I'm like, just let it go, because it's kind of like, I'm sorry, but that's just my body. If you can look at me naked, then you can look at imperfections.
This is what
too.
you get when you look at me naked.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind
Totally.
of like, once I started being more comfortable with that, and then like the feedback wasn't negative. I'm just
Right.
like, well, what was I so fucking worried about? And maybe
Right.
it's not that big of a deal. I'm not
Yep.
going to be like going around tooting my own horn every day. Like, look how hot I am. But I can at least be comfortable to the point of like, okay, well, maybe I don't feel it today, but they feel it. They're seeing it.
And we're always the most critical of ourselves,
Yeah.
right? We notice things that people would never notice. And it's like, we get so worried, and then they just see something totally different, something beautiful and breathtaking. And
Yeah.
Good.
And I'll see
Glad-
like
glad
a
I did
photo
notice.
sometimes. I'm like, oh god, there's a couple new smile lines there. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry for being happy. Like, what am I stressed
and
Truly
alive and real.
Yeah, and truly confidence is sexy.
Oh
I
my
feel
gosh.
like there's nothing sexier than someone who just truly like feels themselves about like how
Oh
they
my gosh.
are, or like just whatever, and they could just be wearing a trash bag and still look hot. You
I
know,
was-
it's like
I was
damn.
interviewed this morning, and they were asking me, like, what is the number one feature you find attractive in a man? And I was like, confidence. Like, if you're confident, I'm in. If
Yeah.
you're not, you could be the hottest person in the world, and if you are not confident, it is so unattractive.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
And like the lack of confidence, I think it comes from also knowing it's like, if you don't have confidence in yourself, then you're going
Right.
to feel insecure with me to the point that you're going to make me a problem in your life.
Yep.
And I know that from experience from my
Yes.
ex-husband.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those things that
Let's
now
talk
I
about
look at it.
ex-husbands. I'm sorry, just kidding. Go ahead.
Let's talk about it.
Are we getting deep today?
Wow, it's so true though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then you become their source of making them feel good, and you can never make someone full.
Yes.
That is an inside job.
Yeah, and it's definitely like what I've definitely found, especially with my new relationship, is like, you need to already be full. And it's like,
Yes.
you can be like half full sometimes, and maybe someone else can help fill that for a time. But eventually it's like, you have to figure out how, if that other bit goes away, that you're still going to be full enough to get through. Because it's like,
Totally.
once you invest too much, or you change too much about yourself to fit somebody else's needs or expectations of you, then you're not yourself anymore.
Yep.
So you start to lose like all of that inner joy, all of that inner like creativity, or the dreams.
Yep.
You just drop them because you don't have your own stuff anymore. You just have this person's stuff.
It becomes an energy leak. Like, I feel like when I've dated people like that, it literally drains the life and the creativity and the joy and the passion out of you. And then when I release those people from my life and it's just me, of course it's hard. But then it's like all of a sudden, like, my creativity is back, my joy is back, my happiness is back. And it's like, holy shit, you don't notice until that person's gone how much of a drain they were.
Yeah, it's one of those, and while you're in it, especially with like, and not everything is like abusive, but sometimes people are abusive to each other, I feel like, without even being abusive people. It's just like, there are some
100%.
people who just,
if you're not aligned, it
it
brings out like
doesn't-
the worst
yeah,
in you.
exactly. And
Yep.
it's like, well, sometimes you just need to like break it off. And this isn't even just like relationships, but even just friendships, or even business working relationships, anything like.
Yep.
And then I've gotten to the point, and I'm sure that you probably feel this way too, where it's like, when you spend so much time trying to be someone that people expect you to be, once you're alleviated of that, you never want to go back to that.
Never.
So it becomes much easier to kind of like cut people off in a way that's like smooth and effective, and hopefully doesn't cause too many ripples and waves, so you can just get back on the path.
It's
that you
always
know
the
you should be
scariest
on.
until you do it.
Yeah.
It's so
The
scary to
anticipation.
leave what you know when it's all you know, or the pressure to be who they need you to be. But the second you're out, it's
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah. And even too, like with the divorce that I had, it's like it was definitely not that instantaneous, because it's like there's so much work that you have to
Yeah.
get through to do that. But it's like
Healing.
you start to feel it. And it's like you might not even recognize what it is that you're feeling, because you're still like longing for this thing that has trained you to feel like you need it.
What is your like number one lesson or piece of wisdom that you feel like you gained through your divorce?
Oh, so many nuggets.
Right?
That's a lot to get into. It was a very long time. I think that it's when people are trying to encourage you or push you to do something that you've already stated just once, that you're not comfortable with. That's it. That's it for me. Because I was never a person before, like I said, like I challenged, even the religion growing up, and I don't know why. I know I went through therapy. I know how I ended up in this relationship, but by the time I got there, I had all of my self-confidence completely gone already, and I was in a terrible, terrible place. And then it was this person who was like, well, you're unhappy now because you're not doing this, and so you should do this, and here's the next step. And it's like there were times that I pushed back and times that but eventually it's like you get steamrolled enough times that you can't get back up, and so you just keep going with the flow until it's like, well, wait, this person never had your best interest at heart, because they never took the time to just listen to the basic no. Or the I don't want this, I am uncomfortable, I am unhappy. And it's like, if you are with someone, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, who it's not that somebody else should necessarily prioritize your happiness, but you should be prioritizing your happiness.
100%.
Because you can't expect someone else to just be, like we said, the thing that makes you happy. But they should be adding to it, not detracting from it.
That reminds me, I was engaged before I was married to a different man, and I knew he wasn't the one. I was just unhealthy. It was an unhealthy relationship, and would never respect my no. And so when we got engaged, the only reason I said yes was because I quit fighting. I kept trying to break it off after like 13 times. And when I broke it off, and he came back with a ring and flowers, and I was like, why do I keep fighting? Like, so I said yes out of like surrender, not in a good way. And I remember one of my good friends, kind of a mentor, said to me, Nicole, if he doesn't respect you now, what makes you think he's going to respect your no in the marriage? And I was like, fuck. Because I think we all have this hope that someone's going to change, or you see the potential in someone.
Or that you can change them.
Yes.
Or they've given you cues and like little instances of the person that they could potentially be. But typically it's just them showing you what they know that you want.
Yes. Not who they are.
Until they have what they need.
Yep.
And what they need is like their grasp on you. And once they have that, it's like, well, now I've already given so much and I've already invested so much. Like, how could I possibly leave? I would be such a terrible person. And it's like, no, because it's just like it's not their responsibility to make you happy. It's not your responsibility to make them happy.
Yep.
It's like with you, for instance. Like, I can't like promise that I'm going to make you happy all the time, but we always laugh. We always enjoy. We have a good time doing things. And it's not like an effort when it's like too much effort to pull the minutest amount of affection or respect out of someone. That should be a clear indicator, and I don't know why it wasn't.
We've all been there.
But
we'll learn and
but that should be
better.
a clear indicator. Like, just look for the signs, because typically the red flags are exactly what they are.
Yeah, it's like the red flags you see in the beginning typically are the reasons why you end up breaking it off, or it ends up breaking up. And I think back in the day, I used to always fall in love with potential. I'm like, I can help them. I can save them. Like, I'm a lover. I'm a healer. And I realized, like, I can't fall in love with potential. I have to be with someone who's already actualized, and they know who they are. They love who they are. Not saying they're perfect and have it all figured out, but there's enough self-development and emotional intelligence that, like, I don't have to become their mother. Like, we are, like, equals and pures, like, in our power, in our own evolution. And there's alignment and ease there.
Yeah, it's definitely true. Like, I just think about all the instances of, like, taking care of this partner that I had. And it's like, people always ask me, like, do you want children someday? I'm like, no, I was a mother all throughout my 20s to like a grown ass fucking man. I don't
parenting
need to,
cycle is complete.
It's done. I did my thing. I raised him. I sent him off into the world. I hope he's doing fine.
Amazing.
And it's like that. It should always be like a partnership.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one thing he always used to say is like, especially when I would have any sort of success, within the industry or with anything, it was like, we are an effective team. And I always used to be like, yeah, we're an effective team.
Oh,
no. It's like a teamwork requires both parts participating to create an outcome. Yep. Otherwise, you're just a leech hanging off the back, like sapping out all the energy.
It's so true.
Yeah. So definitely and that's the same thing I would say with friendships as well, because I'm very much similar in the instance of always wanting to like save everyone and, I can help, you do this. And if we did this, then it could be this. And I will always, and I still sometimes do this, put so much effort into situations that I'm like, I get out the other side. I'm like, why did I do that again?
Yeah. I take it all back.
Wish I could get the past 6 months back.
Totally.
But so what are plans that you have moving forward with the industry?
Gosh.
Like what type of content do you do now that you've become more explicit?
Yeah, so it was all like implied and like mostly covered, and now I make full on like sex content. I've done a little bit of boy girl. I mostly do girl, which I love. And I do all like masturbation and all that stuff that I do. I have fantasies of like a gangbang and being spit, like stuff like that. I don't know if we talk about this in my OnlyFans, like which fantasies are meant to stay as a fantasy. It sounds hot, but maybe not in real life. And then which fantasies do you actually want to have fulfilled in your lifetime? And I feel like the beauty of OnlyFans, it kind of forces me to confront my deepest fantasies and like sit with that and think into it and like, what do I want? And so like, I'll go to sex clubs sometime to like explore and see what other people do and like play a little bit and test my limits. And it's such a fun evolution. But beyond that, like I have this dream of having like a global empire. Like I want to have like my own TV show. I want to have my own lingerie line, my own makeup line, my own shoe line. Like eventually that's the direction I want to go. And yet I was just sharing on my Facebook this week, like I'm big enough to where like I have some fame and influence and like lifestyle that I love, but intimate enough with my community that I know my fans really well. And because I know there's going to come a day where I'm so big doing my other things, I won't have this time to interact with them. And so it just makes me really savor the season that I'm in. Yeah. I love my humans, my subscribers.
Yeah, that's what I love about OnlyFans too, is I started as a cam model, like a webcam model. And it was very much more that like you're kind of in your own little bubble of whatever your fan base is and whatever your brand of the sauce is, those people like it. Yeah. And it's kind of translated into OnlyFans for me, and now I get to like I feel like OnlyFans has become, I get to have even better conversations with people and get to know even more about them, because it's true. With webcam, right? It's like, so you're in a public chat room, you have all these different people commenting and weighing in. It's like, yes, you know things about people, but when you're online, you can't give all that special like one-on-one interaction that I feel like you can with an OnlyFans DM. Yes. Because even if I'm talking to someone about something really, really deep and personal in one thread, I can be sexting with someone else in the other, and it's like totally different. And it's just a switch of a tab, you know what I mean? It's so good. You get to almost like reach more people than I thought that, with webcamming, I was kind of like, this is the only thing I can do. And there's so much more than that, which is so cool to watch the industry evolve in a way that we can do so many different things.
Yeah. I had a one-on-one Zoom call with a fan 2 days ago, and I've known him for 2 years, DMing almost every day, but it was our first face-to-face interaction. And I got like a little emotional because I like deeply love this person. Like, I think that's what surprised me most by this industry. Like, I first started it just to practice self-expression and taking up space and learning to feel safe being sexy. And then it's blown up into this whole full community where like I really know my fans, they really know me. And then when we do these one-on-one calls, I'm like, I just love you. Like, you're so special. And like, that's something I didn't see coming in the industry. And I think that's something amazing that OnlyFans offers for those who want that. Because you don't get that on Pornhub. You don't get that on webcam places. Like, it's a unique niche that they have.
Yeah, it's very cool. I don't really often do Skype, calls, but I wanted to offer something special. And this was like a month or two ago by this point. And it was so sweet just like to sit there and talk with someone who, yes, it's like I DM with you, but having that, like, to actually see you interacting back with me is really, really cool. And I didn't used to do even a lot of like cam watching or private shows when I was a cam model. So it has become something that's more personal, and I feel like they know me even better. And now that I'm not in that relationship anymore, but still in the industry, I've made it something that's totally different and my own. And I'm sure that's what you're coming into as well, with being like, well, now I'm discovering myself and you can watch. And how cool is that?
So
like,
cool. They love it. I love it. It's so mutual.
I love your art. Can we talk about this?
These are my kids' drawings.
I thought. I was like, I had to ask.
So
That's
this is
adorable.
my 7-year-old skeleton. This is his self-portrait that he drew. And then my middle child, she drew the rainbow and my zebra. And then my oldest drew the theater snacks.
I love
M&M,
the theater
soda,
snacks.
and popcorn.
That's
That's
so
amazing.
adorable.
It's cute. So I have a folder. I've collected drawings over the years to document different ages that they're at. And then over time, I'm like, okay, let's get this tattooed. Oh, let's add this tattoo. And like,
Oh, that's
and
so
my
cute.
10-year-old just asked me, like, when's your next tattoo of my art coming, Mom? I'm like, I got to book the appointment.
Oh, that's so
It's
cute.
so sweet. And then they all got to like sign their name on my arm, and then I got it tattooed. And
That's
I love
amazing.
it.
And
Yeah.
the
So cool.
artist was very talented.
Yes.
To
So sweet.
redo it basically.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
it's amazing because they just stick it on. They like take a copy and print it on. They trace it, and I'm like, gosh,
I
tattoos
love
are
it.
amazing. Yeah, I love it too. It's
I
so
kept
special.
staring at it. And I was like, I gotta like bring it up.
Yes.
What's the one on your
amazing.
other?
This one I actually got in 2016. I realized I was queer. This also helped me walk away from my faith, because I'm like, how can I be my 30s and not even know my own sexuality? I thought I was straight my whole life, and I'm very, very, very queer. And so I got like this rainbow tree to symbolize my queerness, and it says rooted in love. And then like an arrow shooting through fear. Like, I'm no longer going to live in fear. I'm going to live a life rooted in love, and it's going to grow beautiful things. And this was a promise to myself that someday I'd come out publicly, because I was in the closet for about a year. And I was like, I'd see that. I'm like, someday, like, I'm going to have the courage. So that's where I got that
I love
first
that.
tattoo.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, I've told you this before, my grandma would tell everybody that I was a lesbian because I had no interest in boys when I was like 12 years old. And so I always, harbored it. And it wasn't for me that I was kind of like, because they used to mock my grandmother for it. My grandmother on the other side had a female partner later in life. And it was never something that occurred to me as something that was bad, and I couldn't understand why there was such an issue with it. But I was never even around people. I was homeschooled.
Wow.
So it's not like something that until I got into the industry, I'm like, oh, this is like a thing that is okay. And oh, this is fun. And oh, women are fucking beautiful. Isn't that cool? It's like, yeah, dick is great too, but boobies. Like, boobies. Oh, I love
I'm a boob
boobies.
person.
I don't care.
I love bodies, but
Every
boobs are
time that I
amazing.
see a comment about, someone, making a passive aggressive comment about a woman with like fake boobs, there was this one about like, oh, they don't feel the same. They don't feel as nice. And I'm like, listen, I've felt a lot of different boobs. Probably more boobs than you have, my friend. They feel great. All the boobies.
There's still flesh around them, and they're very
The
soft.
tiny boobies feel good. The really big boobies feel good. The fake boobies feel good.
All boobs.
I'll say
all
silicone-
boobs feel good.
Silicone a little bit better than saline, maybe, but still good. Still good. That's just personal preferences. But until you have felt fake boobs, how dare you? How dare you? I didn't run through this many titties to not know a thing
yes,
or
thank
two
you
about
for doing the
boobs.
research. We appreciate
That's
it,
what
and you're
was.
welcome.
It was for science.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Well, this was fun. You want to tell everybody where they can find you and watch your
Yes.
journey? And
yeah,
explore
I'm on
yourself?
all the socials. NicoleMitchell.com has all my links. Nicole is Nikole. I'm the most active on OnlyFans, then Instagram and Facebook. So come say hi.
Cool. That's
Everybody go
awesome.
follow her and go follow her on her OnlyFans now.
Yeah, definitely.
amazing.
We should hook up in the future when you come
Yes,
back to
I
Vegas.
love that.
And literally hook up. I can source you a pastor outfit unless you still have one, and we can do a new
Yes,
series.
Let's
just
do
for
it.
fun.
Let's do it.
Let's
Get
go.
ready. Yes.
I'll have to find that crucifix dildo. and see what I can
That is
get
amazing.
done.
I never knew that was such a thing. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, I'm searching as soon as I get home. Like, Amazon, here
I
I
don't know
come.
if they make it anymore, but I hope
That's
so.
Does
Amazing.
Geeky Sex Toys do anything like
Geeky
that?
sex
Let's
toys.
hit
Looking
them
at you.
up.
Let's
Looking
make
at
some
you.
new stuff. Okay.
Send it to us and we'll use it.
Yeah.
Come on.
They sponsor the show, actually, TWND 10. So go check it out. And thank you for
Thank you
joining
so
us,
much.
Nicole.
This
This
was
was
amazing.
awesome.
Thank
And
you.
We will see you all Monday.
Come.